So you know how sometimes the longer you stare at something, the more it's like, oh. So I got this tractor up in the air, and yeah, that's not normal. That's not good. That's not. See, this is what it's supposed to look like, right here. Here, let's hold this up. Let's hold it right there. Okay, and that's supposed to be straight. Yep. And this, unfortunately, this frame rail got pulled out. I don't know if you guys can really tell. That one's straight. That one's not straight. So apparently I have more work to do than I thought. But let me show you why I think this happened. Welcome to HP Small Engine. This guy that owned it before, not before, the guy that did this, he built this blade to fit that tractor. Well, that's what mounts to your lift. Alright, yeah. And that goes, let me show you, if you guys have never seen one of these. Right here. This is your hydraulic lift pivot point, right here. Well, anyways, the way this hydraulic system works, you can see in there, you got high lift, float, lower, raise, and hold. Well, when you have something like this, and you put something like that on there, you have to make it to where if you hit something with that, it'll bounce and not put all the stress right about there in that general area. Because this happens. Yep. That's not good. But you know what? I fix this stuff. So, yeah, it's a little bit more work. Yeah, some people probably wouldn't have it. We won't talk about the paint coming off or the fact the frame's half rotted, but you know, that's okay. That's irrelevant. That's no big deal. So what happens when you, this is a prime example of when you leave stuff sitting in tall grass. That stuff happens, but that's okay. You know what? I don't care. I've got 2 parts tractors. We'll make it work. But yeah, that's a bummer. But if you haven't noticed already, I already went ahead and I bought a new one of those. I bought used pins, and then I found my original pin. So I have a spare pin, but I'm going to put these on anyways. And I bought new covers. That's not for this tractor, but it fits. It's for a 444, but you know, that's the big wheel. That's not a big wheel. It's alright. But yeah, I just waiting on, I got to get the engine parts for that. Those should be here. My dad's supposed to be bringing he's bringing my tractors back up to me so I can get the parts out and swap it over. Which, if you guys see my last video, you see what happened with this wonderful thing. And the 224 that I have, it's 14 horse. It's not a Magnum, but I'm using this block and all the parts off of this block. I just need the rotating assembly minus the, you know, cam. But he's bringing that back up, and then hopefully my rings, I'm putting new rings in it. The rings should be here tomorrow. Hopefully I can have this engine put back together. But I got to get the frame and everything fixed on that before I put that back in. Alright, let's get to work. Well, here's my 2 basket cases. So here's the deal. This one has a 14 horse, but this is the old style with points, and it's supposed to have a coil. So what we're going to do, the rotating assembly in that should fit. So I got to get that engine out. And then for the frame, which I finally managed to get this cleaned up, I'm going to cut, I got to pull this out of the way. I'm going to notch this out right around all this goobered up stuff here. And since that's a donor tractor, the frame rails should be the same because that has hydraulic lift on it. So if all goes well, most of the mounts and everything should be exactly the same underneath. I haven't checked yet. If not, I don't care. I'm going to still section the frame out of that, and I'll put it into that. Then I can work with that. Yeah, it's a lot of work for, you know, I got a tractor right there that would probably be easier to put together and stuff, but you know, those ones are part rigs. There's a lot more missing parts on that than what is over here. And also, since that one has hydraulic lift over there, I'll swap the cylinder out since this thing's brazed back together. Oh, another random fact. Okay, here's this mowing deck. See how it shoots on that side? This one shoots on the other side. Because these engines are in backwards versus what I have. These ones run off the output shaft. That one runs off the flywheel. I don't know when they changed that, but that's kind of cool. Alright, let's get this thing tore apart. Alright, engine's out. But check this out. Got this sucker up on its side because I got to pull the hydraulic cylinder out of it, which you guys already knew that. This thing still has the original covers for the grease zerks. Zerks. Anywho's. Which goes to show one thing. No one ever greased it. Well, that escalated quickly. Alright, so here's the deal. I'm going to measure about 15 times. I'm going to cut this frame in a whatever section I got to do here. This one only had one bolt. I'll show you how that worked out on this one, but the one bolt hole should still line up for the... Get off my fender. Sorry. Anyways. Yep, so what I'm going to do is I'll figure out where I want to start cutting, do what I got to do. I just want to make sure I cover, because this whole section here on that tractor, right there, you know. So I'll do that, and then what I'll do is I'll take the piece that I cut out and come over here. Which I'm going to section this out already, but figure out where it's going to sit, and I'll put marks out and I'll cut it. I don't care if there's a little bit of a gap. I will fill it with weld, but then I'm going to grind it back down so it doesn't look like I even did anything. The only thing is I'm not going to go down very far. I'm just going to skim underneath that, right about at the bend. Just that way I don't have to get into the engine mounts and stuff. But alright, let's start using the tape measure about 70 times and figure out what I got to do. Alright, got her notched out. Got the new piece sitting in there as close as I can get it. I'll burn this side in, get this side double checked to make sure it's up where it needs to be, burn that side in, and then we will double check to see where the cylinder is supposed to mount. The mount on this 224 was different. As you can see, this is the mount, just a piece of angle iron. Obviously that one was a little bit different. That one's a lot more different. But I'm hoping, I don't know 100% sure, but I'm hoping that these holes actually lined up to at least one set of those holes. Then I can just bolt it on one side, drill the holes for the other ones, then I'll be set on all four. But first thing we gotta do is get these two pieces to become one. And just like that, we have new frame rails with a new mount already. I'm running out of daylight, so figured I'd just put a little primer on there for right now, just to keep the moisture, you know, from really getting into it, which hopefully I'll have a little bit of paint. I got to figure out what paint this is. I think it's some kind of a, they call this some kind of a red. I don't know. It's more orange than red to me, but I mean, probably on the camera it looks more red, but I don't know. I'll figure out the color. This thing's going to need a little bit of body love eventually. I'm not worried about it at this moment, but for right now, this is still the old cylinder, but I held it up, and this was really, really close to where it was. I didn't think about measuring before I took this off, but whatever. It should be fine. But yeah, there it is. Time to call it a night, and we'll get back to it tomorrow. Well, I got this in, started tearing it down, and there's a little bit of water damage on it. I'm not too worried about it, honestly, because as long as if the rod and the crank are good, then I can still use the old piston. The old piston's still in good shape. But check this out. Here's something else I didn't know. Okay, so this was on the flywheel side. I'm assuming that's what ran the PTO and stuff. I don't know exactly. But this thing has got a little stubby output shaft. Just a little guy. This is how much would stick out of this one. About, you know, actually, well, this whole unit could fit on that. So yeah, pretty much this whole thing. And yeah, so I'm contemplating, it's like $180 for a used crankshaft. And as long as this crankshaft's good and the rod's good, it rotates fine. I might not worry about running a PTO for a little bit. Not right away. I think they make extenders you can put on these, but I don't know. I don't think that'd work very well for that. I don't know, but either way, I gotta get this head off. We gotta see how nasty it looks inside. Well, no moisture got in. Wow. Oh, we got a lot of, there's a big old nest in there. But she rotates good. This one rotated really good too. Just that didn't do, you know, that stuff. That didn't do that stuff. Yep, okay. Well, I gotta pull the shroud off, which is one more bolt. One more bolt right there. And then pull the flywheel and continue. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do anything. This block doesn't seem too damaged, honestly, but I broke a bolt trying to pull the exhaust off. Whoops. I might just pull the guts out of this thing. And I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot of Kohler blocks and stuff around. I really don't need to keep it around, but I'm the kind of person that keeps stuff because, you know, why not? You never know when you need something. Ever. You guys tell me sometime. If you guys ever want to hear about where all these came from, let me know. Throw a comment down. I'm talkative. If you haven't noticed, I have a YouTube channel. I talk a lot. But if you guys are ever curious about that, throw a comment and let me know. We'll talk about it sometime. Anywho's, let's get this finished. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that looks really good in there. Because it does. That looks fantastic. She's ugly on the outside, but she's clean in the inside. Oh boy. Alright, I need to pull these mounts off, then pull the oil pan off, and then disassemble the rest of the way. I just wanted to clarify with myself that everything looked good in there. So, I like it. Alright, a little bit of water damage. Nothing terrible. I can wipe that right off. Even so, I have another gear over there if I have to use another one. Right in here, you can see that's your fuel pump. So there's a little spot on the cam if you see. Well, let me get that rod right in the way. There you go. Just moves it just a little bit. Now, here's another question for you guys. Does anybody know what this is for? Anybody know why there's a giant dorsal fin on the bottom of the rod there? Throw a comment down. Tell me what it is. If you guys don't know, well, I'll tell you what it is next week. If I forget, then just comment that I'm a schmuck and I should have done it anyways. Anyways, I gotta pull those out, push the rod down, pop the crank out, and I'm probably gonna pull the cam on this just because it looks good. And this block, it's not bad. The block looks good on the inside. She's just ugly on the outside, but I might keep it for something. You never know. If I get back into tractor pulling, this would be a good something to start with. But, yep, pull the rod cap off, pull the crank out, and then I'm going to grab my calipers. I'm going to check the size of the piston. I'm going to check the crankshaft. She's a little bit marred up, but that's not terrible. Sorry guys, I'm bad with the camera still. It's not terrible. I don't think it'd be that bad. Should be fine. We'll make it work. I mean, just a little bit better than that one. Alright. Alright, I've got the cylinder honed. I have the ring in there. And I checked the gap. The gap's at a pretty snug 11 thousandths. The way you're supposed to do it is about 4 thousandths per inch of cylinder bore. Well, this is a 3.5 inch cylinder bore, so you're supposed to have like 3.5 times 4. That's what, like 15? Probably not quite, like 14 point whatever. Anyways, 11, 12, good enough. I don't care. It'll be fine. Just give it more hump. Since I've planned on working on quite a few of these colors, I went and printed off a complete single cylinder engine service manual. That goes from, I want to say that's the 7 horse all the way up to the 16 horse. The 18 horse, which is the K361, is a completely different animal. I don't know when they made them. I want one. The only reason that if you look at the specs between, this is the K341 16 horse. If you look at the specs between that and an 18 horse, which is an overhead valve, the only difference between the two is compression. The 18 horse has more compression. Anyways, let's get back on track. I need to find reassembly 12. Hooah! Section 9. Ooh! Hey! 11. 11, 12. We're almost there. Way too far. Go back. There it is. Not the first page. Go back. And if you can tell, it's, you know, the old middle school pictures that have been copied and printed and copied and printed 814 times. Alright, here we go. Yep, The biggest thing I need to know is, first I'll show you guys in here. You see these two, looks like, I can't think of the words for them, soft plugs. Then you have the cam gear. Well, let's lay this down. All the noise. This has balance gears in it. And this guy didn't know it had balance gears in it when he pulled the crank off, and he has no idea how to time those. And I don't even know where the mark is on the cam to figure that out. That's why I have a book. So we're going to get this figured out and go from there. Alright, so I didn't do much recording of the assembly in here just because it was a major pain in the butt, because it's my first time and I had to do the balance gears and such. But everything should be lined up perfectly the way it's supposed to be. I just put the rod cap on. I'm getting ready to torque that down. As you see, she's nice and lubed up. Now, I'm not sponsored by these guys, but if anyone's ever heard of this, Pro Lube, it's an oil treatment. And I've seen these guys on TikTok, oops, sorry, and they use it quite a bit, showing examples of stuff of, they've got like a tester, you put it in and you forcefully use a lot of friction on it, and it's the best stuff they show out of any other oil I've ever seen. So it's not really assembly lube, but for an engine that's bone dry, I'm going to just pack it right full of it, so when I start putting oil in it, that is already in as an additive, and then it should be good. I don't know, I like trying stuff. I see that enough, it's like, okay, I'm convinced, let's see how it works. Anyways, rod caps. Let's go back over here. Back to my office. This book tells you exactly, with new rods or even used rods, and tells you your different numbers, posi lock, cap screw, da-da-da-da-da. I don't have a clue what that is. I got to figure that out first. It'll probably tell me somewhere. But that's the best thing about having a book for this stuff, because you find out everything you need to know. like timing when it comes to timing counterbalance gears. Yeah. So anyways, here's the deal. Just to kind of sum it up. I didn't obviously record that. So what I'm going to do is when I get to this engine, I'll do a full build, because I need to look and see if I'm going to pull the cam out of this one right here, because I'm thinking about building that into a garden tractor pulling engine. I might not have a tractor to do it with yet, but I'll build that and cam it, and then I'll just show how that works to be built. We'll do it that way. Anyways, let's get back to work on torquing those down. I'm going to get those torqued down. I'm going to get the head put on and such. I'm going to get it prepped. As you can tell, it's dark. It's like midnight right now. I'm going to have that pretty much ready to go in the tractor. So tomorrow when I get up, I got a couple errands to run. Hopefully, I'll be able to drop that in there. We'll see if it runs. That'd be wonderful. Alright, we got the lower end put back together. It's time to put the head on. Now, just to put in perspective, okay. 14 horse. The 10 horse, 12 horse, and 14, which is the K. This is a 321, so K301 and 2. Oh, my Lanta. I can't remember the numbers. I gotta look at the numbers now. It's gonna bother me if I don't. There, flip it there. Flip it there. 241, 301, 321. Okay. These all have the same block. That's the 8 horse, 7, 6, and I think 5. I don't know. Those are when I do tractor pulls and stuff, when I look for that stuff, I look for these 3. This is the 16 horse, like I said, but these 3 have the same block. Now, to put it in perspective, they're only 2 horse different, per block. But here's something I want to show you. Like, there's the head gasket for the 10, 12, and 14. Here's the head gasket for the 16 horse. Okay? They had to change the block style, the block size, because it was so much bigger. And conveniently enough, I happen to have one of these, and Dad happened to have a brand new piston, so I have a brand new piston right there for that guy. Anyways, I just wanted to throw that out before I threw the head back on. But we're getting close. We're getting really close. Oh, and instead of that garbage carburetor that I have this brand new shiny one right here. That's gonna go on that. I think it has, yep. Get all the goodies. That I bought that for this thing right here, but that's gonna be a while. I got other things I want to get done first. That's actually gonna end up at my dad's property. So, all right, we're gonna finish this. I'm gonna probably put the head on, torque the head on, and I'm gonna call it a night because, yeah, like you guys can already tell, I'm always, midnight stuff. But hopefully, this thing will be running tomorrow. If not, it'll be at least close to dropping the engine in. We'll see. All right. New hydraulic cylinder, well, new to it, is in. Engine is most of the way together. Finally. I went and painted all the shrouds to make it look that much better. Because, the engine's pretty much brand new now. Not. Alright, I gotta do my little errand run and then come back. We'll drop the engine in it and see if it does anything. Okay, I've got a couple more shrouds and stuff to put on, but that's ready to go in. So, plan, I'm gonna grease everything I can reach while everything's still off. Or the engine's still out. I'll grease that. I can get the spindles just because. But I'll get my bolts out here and we will and then go to the hospital because I threw my back out. But then we'll hook it up, and I don't have a battery, the right size battery. Well, I've got a battery, I think that's the one that came out. That's the one I have. They're opposite posts because, why not? That's okay. I'll use it temporarily. But anyways, we're almost ready to drop her in and see if it comes to life. I hope. Well, it's in. Only issue I came up with, this carburetor this choke connection is backwards. Here, if you see right here, this pivots from the front. And of course, you know, it took me just now to realize that. This old gal pivots on the back. So every time I put my choke all the way up, it's actually shutting the choke off because it pulls and pushes. So I gotta swap that back out. I'll clean that carb up. It should be just fine. But again, I'm gonna call her tonight. I got a mess to clean. I gotta start work tomorrow night, so I'm gonna take some time to wind down. Oh, and real quick, if no one's ever seen this, this is the coolest little thing. Look at this hood button. push it open. Isn't that cool? Click. Anyways, it might be a day or two, but I'll get the new carb on it, and we'll see if this sucker comes to life. I did put oil in it. 2 quarts full, perfect. All right, we'll see you guys in a little bit. Well, that's not good. I see why they had a bunch of RTV packed on there now. I'm assuming the oil pan's bent. That would explain why all that stuff was on there. That sucks. Guess I gotta pull the engine back out. Yay! Well, that's one thing that kind of sucks about projects sometimes is, you know, sometimes they don't quite go as what you expect, but, you know, that's part of the game. No big deal. Yeah, I don't, I'm gonna have to set that pan on a flat surface and just see how tweaked it is, because that's a brand new gasket, and I put my aviation RTV stuff on it. It shouldn't leak, and it's only wet around the bottom. Here, let me show you guys. Literally, that's dry. The pan's wet, and it mainly leaked on this side where, you know, all that orange RTV was. Go figure, right? So we gotta unhook the hydraulic pump again, and then get that situated. Get that 4 bolts out, pull that engine back out, and see what we're working with. You always gotta look at the bright side of things. At least I didn't have to pull the engine back out and stare at it, wondering where the leak was coming from. I already knew where it was coming from, so that's a plus side. I've got the new gasket in it. It looks like it's wet around here, but it's kind of hard to tell. It was all, this whole frame rail on this side. This whole side's wet. That side's drier than a popcorn fart. So I'm assuming that obviously it was leaking out this side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some RTV. I'm gonna pull the pan back off. I'm gonna RTV it and put it back on. I'm not gonna do the goobered up job they did on the side. I'm just gonna actually do it on top of having the gasket. But problem is I don't have any RTV right now, so I'll have to get some. That's okay. Yep. Nope. Oh well. So hopefully next time you guys see this, I'll be putting RTV on that. Alright, well, I got some RTV on there finally. If you can tell, see how it's squished out really good there? It's not so much there, and it is on the corners. This oil pan's bent, but I'm hoping that'll hold for now. It should, because there's ribs in there. Yeah. You can see the line. Where is it? Right there. Somewhere in there. That's probably the one spot that doesn't have one. Anyways, you can see it going down this way. That should seal it. I'm hoping. But I'm going to let that sit overnight. Make sure it's got a good seal. And then tomorrow, we'll put it back in there. And go from there. Hopefully it takes some oil and I can actually go rumba. Nope. Engine's in. RTV gasket's on. Oil's in it. And I don't see any drippage. That's hydraulic fluid for me overfilling it, so I'm not going off of that. But compared to that, I think we have a win. Now I gotta switch the carburetor back over and do a couple more things, and we'll see what happens. I swear this tractor hates me. I had to hire a real mechanic this time. I think he might figure out what's going on with it. So this morning, I got home, hooked up the battery, got everything hooked up. Just figured out what the heck. Let's see if it pops off, and then I can assemble it all the way and then go from there. So, I have no spark. No spark. Awesome. I think I'm gonna pull the shrouds off. I'm gonna try to get to where I can see the coil. I'm gonna pull the ground cable off the coil, just have it to where it's just on its own. Roll it over and see if I have spark. And that battery's junk. I made it about 3 revolutions and went from full speed to nope. That figures. But yeah, I'm gonna try to pull this top shroud section off here, just get it out of the way, which I know I got a little bit to remove, but just so I can go down there and pop the wire off and see if it's just not grounding, premature grounding or something, you know. Let's try that and see what happens. Back to that whole, if I didn't have bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all. Coil's bad. I thought I had one to fit. I don't. Guess I gotta order another one. I gotta love the waiting game. It's got good compression though. Okay, so I gotta order one. Hopefully next time you guys see me, it'll be mounted on it and it's running. If it's not, you're gonna see the tractor sitting in the yard. Nope, I won't do that. I'll fix it. That was easy. This thing is so quiet. All right. Another one done. Good deal. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for watching. I'm glad the stinking coil finally showed up. That's next again, as you can tell. It's back in the garage, so I'll be getting into that. Hopefully next week we'll have something on brakes. As you can see, I've started working on brakes. But I got a few things for it. You'll see. You'll see. But I'll also show you. Let me show you this guy. Check this thing out. This old thing. Sycamore. A friend of mine at work. Apparently this was in their barn, his grandmother's barn. And they actually still had paperwork when they bought this brand new. So we are going to get it running for them, clean it up, repaint it. Try to do a little restore on this thing. It's a little rusty down there, as you can see right there. But yeah, let me know if you guys want to see a full redo on this thing. I think it'd be cool. I've been wanting to go through and paint and redo a lot of stuff anyway, so if you guys are interested, let me know. But yeah, this thing's done. I need to figure out that this wiring still I need to get situated, but I need to get this choke cable figured out, because you pull the choke cable, the whole cable moves. The cable doesn't go up and down, but that's whatever. Just somewhere it's looped a little too far, but it's alright. It's still doing a lot better than what it did when I got it. Alright, you guys have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.